A major security breach at Marriott. As many as 500 million guests worldwide possibly had their information exposed to hackers. On your screen right now, we're showing you the affected brands: Sheraton, Westin, Element, Aloft, W Hotel, St. Regis, Four Points, Le Méridien, and the Luxury Collection, along with Starwood branded timeshare properties. No Marriott branded hotels were affected. Some of the information stolen includes guest addresses, dates of birth, and passport numbers. And some customers' credit card numbers and expiration dates were also compromised. This has been going on since 2014.
This is a really big deal because this went on for years.
So, this could be one of the largest breaches on record. The CEO of Marriott is apologizing, saying, quote, "We fell short of what our guests deserve and what we expect of ourselves." So if you stayed at a Starwood property over the last few years, you do need to be concerned.
There is a lot of those hotels listed there, but what do you need to do right now to protect yourself? For that, we turn to three TVs on your sides. Gary Harper, that's because he's first time on our set here.
We're not used to saying it.
That's why I messed that up.
That's right.
Gary Harper, you've been doing this for decades, so you got some great advice right now.
So this is a big deal, but I will tell everybody that if you have not stayed at a Starwood property in the last couple of years, then you probably don't have anything to worry about. But this is huge, folks. With that in mind, my first tip is to think back at some of your vacations that you might have taken to see if you actually stayed at one of these affected hotels like we were just talking about. Remember, this has been going on since 2014, and they just found out about it. In all, there are about 10 different hotel chains that fall under Starwood properties. If you think you may have stayed at any of the hotels from 2014 through September of this year, the next thing I want you to do is consider freezing your credit. Contact all 3 credit bureaus and tell them you want your credit frozen. If you do this and your identity is stolen or mixed up in this data breach we're talking about, then a scammer will be unable to open up credit in your name. Now, I talked to an IT expert over at Data Doctors earlier today about this. He says the reason that these data breaches are happening is because there's big money involved when your stolen information is sold on the black markets.
These days, most of these kinds of breaches, most of these kinds of attacks, most viruses, there's one goal and one goal only, and that's to make money. It's a business.
So they want to break in, steal the information, and sell it.
And generally break in as quietly as possible, so they can stay as long as possible to get as much as possible.
Well, they certainly hit the bullseye on this one because they were in the Starwood system for the past 4 years. With that said, you should also change all of your passwords just to play it safe. And I say that because if you do have a Starwood account, you have to have a password to get into that account. And a lot of times, hey, a lot of people use the same password for different websites or different bank accounts. So what's the chance that your Starwood password is also linked to the same password for your, say, your bank account? So if you change your passwords, keep them up as different as you can. Just stay safe.
And this is something incredible to have them in there for 4 years.
Yeah.
Do these hacks normally last that long? Do they have access?
This size, this is the longest one that I have heard of, but this is a significant hack, and it's hitting the hotel industry now. So, first it was Target, Yahoo, now the hotel industry.
And think of your personal profile that you filled out for those respective cards.
Yes.
That's a lot of information.
Oh my goodness. I mean, we're not talking about your just your email and your address, but I mean dates of birth, all kinds of crazy stuff. And guess what? It all falls into the hands of the person you don't want it to get.
Gary Harper, incredibly important issue. Appreciate you making the journey over from 3TV to help us out with this. Nice to have you here.
Nice to be here.